So yes, I'm sending some business. Like run. Yesterday off work, but our daycare is closing, so I'm like on a hunt to find a good daycare, and I was like, so 7 different daycares yesterday. I'm touring one again tomorrow to make a final decision. Much for a day off. It's all good. It'll be I think it's gonna be a good one.
It'll work.
It will.
What's
There
that?
are some though that I was sent to go already. No.
So it pays to go and check it out a little bit. So.
Oh, it does. And then some of them you pay to. You pay.
Years ago.
Yeah.
Just in case.
If I send her the middle one, it's that. And I'm not doing that, but I was listening. I was extra. I have and it is what it is. I think ultimately end up at that Methodist church. We need that cheap, but he's going to be trained in tuning. He's just there. So figuring out something. But yeah, it's.
What's that?
I just. It's all good.
It all works out.
It does.
And they all survive.
Somehow.
I mean, you and I didn't have car seats. We didn't have, helmets. We had bikes. We made it.
We figured it out. There's broken bones and all.
That's right.
Yeah, no, I broke my wrist on my bike. Yeah, they're a little baby, aren't they? I'm not sure what
what were you looking
I'll share this.
Oh, I don't remember because you couldn't find it. Mom didn't.
Oh, that's, yeah.
I don't mind.
Your kids are older now, they're both in high school.
Yeah, junior and freshman. Yeah. It flies.
You can always push down that lane.
Okay, then don't. Oh, yeah, okay.
There's a sunset.
So you are you're in charge of the
Michael, how are you? Good.
Are you
Good, thank you.
qualified for that? Do you have a certificate of rating in
You
that?
don't have the microphones working tonight.
All right, Shelley's here.
Can you hear us in the back? Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Village of Dundee Board of Trustees, the regular meeting agenda, January 21st, 2020. Shirley, could I have the roll call, please?
Just a minute, please. My thing got moved here, so I want to double check it. Okay,
Roll call, please.
so I'm going to record over it. Now, I just have to say, last week we did have some or last meeting we had problems with the microphones not picking up. I picked up like about every other word that you guys are saying. So as you're talking today, please talk loud, so in case they weren't taking and catching it. If you will do that, I appreciate it. Makes it easier for my minutes.
Okay, could you talk in the microphone too, so everybody out in the
I
audience
sure
could hear
can.
you? Thank you.
Okay,
There now?
you will. President Podine,
Here.
Trustee Hickey,
Here.
Trustee Polito,
Here.
Trustee McLennan,
Here.
Trustee Reeves,
Here.
Trustee Horky,
Here.
Trustee Schroeder,
Here.
Manager Ewell.
You want to answer your phone, Dennis?
It's not ringing. That was my laptop, sir. making noise.
If anybody has any cell phones, please turn them off. Thank you. Before we have the Pledge of Allegiance, I would like to have you please stand for a moment of silence for my friend Richard Kyneth, who passed away Saturday. Richard was loved by many, and he loved being with his grandson, Joshua. He shared many sporting events here in Dundee. He was an avid golfer, a state champion bowler, and you would probably see him out on the golf course or walking with his dogs after he couldn't golf anymore. So now, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and then a moment of silence after. Thank you. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll start off tonight with number 4, approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion for the approval of tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Trustee Schroeder and seconded by Trustee Horkey to approve tonight's agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Number 5, approval of the minutes. 5A, payroll workshop, January 7th, 2020, and B, the regular meeting of January 7th, 2020. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of January 7th of the regular meeting and the payroll workshop of January 7th, 2020?
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes of the payroll workshop, January 7th, 2020, and the regular meeting, January 7th, 2020.
Second.
It's been moved by Trustee McClendon and seconded by Trustee Reeves to approval of the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Now we go to number 6, petitions and communications. I see Mr. Manuzak is out there, and we have the highlights of the progress made with the school bond issue. Ed, would you please come up to the front? And I'm just asking this as a favor. Would you like to do a little experiment tonight with us?
I'm up for anything, President Bordine.
All right. This has no disrespect for you or anything.
Sure.
We're just running it, and then I'll ask you the question after. If I could get Chief Garbo to start the 4-minute clock, and that this doesn't pertain to you. You explained
What is that?
all that you can.
What's that for? Then?
Because we
This
asked
isn't
him.
citizens' comments, so.
Yeah, this is a presentation.
And Mr. Manuzak said he would like to participate in this experiment. I'm just asking you, Chief Garbo, please start the 4-minute clock.
Tim, that's not necessary. This is a different type of agenda item. We're not expecting him to be done.
No, I'm just asking this as a favor. Mr. Manuzak is.
If he wants to limit his time.
No, I'm not trying to limit it. We're just running an experiment here. Then I'm going to ask him a question after he's done with his presentation. Does anybody in the audience have a problem with that, or?
Well, it's not a matter
No.
of the audience, it's a matter
It's-
of.
Well, I'm just asking Chief Garbo if he would run the 4-minute clock.
There's
There's no reason to
need
run a 4-minute clock.
My point is this, I don't.
We're just running an
I
experiment.
understand
No.
that, President Garbo, I'm not have a problem, well, I don't care if you run the 4-minute clock, I mean, that doesn't make a difference to me, I mean, run a 4-minute, don't run a 4-minute. What I'm saying is, I think he should be speaking, I mean, if we have citizens' comments, are we at the correct point of the presentation for his discussion at this time?
Yeah.
President Bordine, can I address
Sure.
the board? So I have given this presentation to 2 other elected municipalities, and that hasn't been the format that's been used. It's been an open presentation, and I wouldn't want to short you or the audience members in any
And
type
I'm-
of format, and I certainly know that I'll be presenting this to 4 other municipalities, because we have a total of 7 that our district serves. And it's just, honestly, it's information I think the public would like to hear about the good work that our school is doing with the bond from
And-
2017. So I just throwing that out there.
Okay,
as a-
and I'm
as
just
a way
throwing
to-
out there too, you said you'd participate, and we can see that there's some objections up here.
Sure.
You're willing to participate, so I'm just asking Chief Garbo if he'll start the 4-minute clock. It has nothing to do, if you want to speak 10 minutes or whatever it takes, that's fine with me.
Can I make a motion that we allow Mr.
Oh, you're out of
Manuzak
order, but
all
we'll
the
go
time
to the next
necessary
thing.
to do his
You're out of
presentation?
order, please, you're out of order. Let's just continue. Nobody wants to follow any orders. Everybody wants to run the whole show.
So you're
except
not going
the
to follow the
president.
rules
You're out
tonight?
of order, too.
You're
out
not
of
going to
order,
follow
too.
the rules. They're right
I
here.
can-
You want to read them?
There's
Do you
no
wanna
sense of
read the
going
rules?
and
Do you want- would
arguing
you like
and
to
try to
read the
get over.
rules?
You understand?
Would you like to read the rules
Excuse me.
of order?
Just
Excuse
be
me,
quiet
everyone.
and let
Would
Mr.
you like to read the
Manuzak
rules of
speak.
order?
Speak, please. I'm sorry, Ed. Please continue.
So you're going to run the meetings from now on without council approval, is that what?
Excuse me.
You're out of order, Mr. Polito.
Not hardly.
First of all, the bottom line is that the president does have the authority to run the meetings. However, council does have the right to make motions relative to that process. As I said, from my perspective, you want to run a clock for 4 minutes, you want to run a clock for, it doesn't make any difference. He's not limited to that. It's
No,
just
he's
a
not.
matter of you can put it whatever you want on it.
Yes.
It doesn't make any difference.
It was just a experiment from the high school superintendent. He said he would participate,
I have
and you
no
see the
problem.
opposition. I understand. We'll continue without
No,
it.
what I'm saying to you, Mr. President Bordanis, I don't care whether you run the 4-minute clock or not, as long as it's understood that he's not subject to the 4 minutes.
That is correct. You
I mean, it
are
doesn't- whether you run a
100%
4-minute or
correct.
Run a 10-minute clock, it doesn't make any difference.
Absolutely. Sorry
I
for
mean,
your
that's from a-
inconvenience,
from a
Mr.
procedural
Manuzak.
standpoint, but honestly, the council does have the right to make motions relative to those matters also.
I really don't think we should run this clock.
Well,
Go
that-
ahead.
Then you can make a motion to that effect
Please,
if that's
please,
what you wish to
please
do.
proceed, Mr.
Technically, I'm
Manuzak.
on the floor.
Well,
Please proceed. I mean,
well,
well,
except that I think there's a motion on the floor. I think Ms. Hickey has made a motion.
I'll second the motion.
okay, there's a motion on the floor not to run the 4-minute clock and try this little experiment. All in favor of Andrea Hickey's motion? It was made by Andrea Hickey and seconded by Trustee Horkey that we do not run the 4-minute clock and do this experiment. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I'm sorry for your inconvenience. Please give us a great presentation.
Okay. All right. So, as you can see, our district has been hard at work. I know that we have been, with the trust of the public, the 2017 bond, and the first project, and I tend to speak and move, so I'm going to speak and move. Is that okay? And as you can see, our high school roof, it was a shingled roof, and for those that aren't aware, that we did pass a bond in 2017, and it was for $8.9 million, and it added a .98 mil increase to our operating debt that we have. And right now, that is something that we're worried that we don't want to get too high, but also it's good that we have some debt, because then it shows that we're taking care of our facilities and we're doing things that we really want to make a difference for our students and their families. So it currently sits at 4.73 mils, and I know that for our perspective, we feel that that's within the range of being responsible. The rest of the debt millage that we have in the district is actually for the new high school. So when we did and passed this bond, it went and it was all the way through 2029. So we have about 9 years left on this debt, and it coordinates with the high school debt for the new high school. So it all will expire at the same time. And as you can see, we changed the roof from shingles to metal. This is something that we're very pleased with. I know Mr. Schroeder is the high school principal, and he is the #1 fan. It took a little longer than we had hoped, and I know the joke that we had going back and forth was It'll be done before spring break, and it was done before spring break, which is good.
Barely, barely.
Yes, but at the same time, it has really made a significant difference for this building. When you walk up to this building, it looks as though it's the original roof that was supposed to be put on the building, which we're very pleased with. So this was the largest project we had, and all of our 47 identified in Michigan Department of Treasury approved projects, and it cost about $3 million of our $8.9 million. And then we also had some upgrades with our middle and elementary school and transportation parking lots. This is something that had been needed and necessary for a very long time, especially at the middle and elementary school. So we ended up rerouting a lot of the water lines in the downspout areas, and this has been a significant improvement, as you can see the before and after pictures. And then the other thing that we did with the transportation lot, this was crushed limestone, and so our buses were sitting in crushed limestone. So you can only imagine with the freeze and thaw that happens in Michigan, that this really did not do a lot of great things for our buses. In fact, we had one of our bus contractors say, you know, you want to help your buses and you want longevity for your buses, the first thing you do is have a paved lot for your buses to sit on. So we took the advice of a member of our community, and instead of having it all be asphalt, the buses are resting on concrete, because in the summer when it gets hot, we didn't want it to sink into the asphalt, so that's been wonderful. And then the rest of it is asphalt, so we're very pleased with how that turned out as well. And then the football bleachers. So when we did this work, we did not anticipate the wonderful gift that we received from John D. Craig and his family to help us move our athletic complex over. But then this field is still going to be repurposed. It will make for an excellent middle school football field, and then eventually could turn into, have the dimensions and the width to be a varsity level soccer stadium as well. So we're really excited about that. But these bleachers were an upgrade over bleachers that had originally, we believe, been installed many years ago. And it offered handicap accessibility, because when we did the parking lot, it also allowed there to be handicap accessibility, so when you were at the games, you were able to see above everyone and you know, get to the stadium in a very comfortable manner, which we appreciated. So this also took care of the visitor side bleachers as well. And then the high school natatorium scoreboard and timing system, this was quite the trick. This is a really interesting project that we had. So we had this beautiful natatorium at our high school, and there were large metal girder beams that were actually had some corrosion on them, and then they were going down the sides of the walls, and it really didn't look really how you want it in our high school natatorium or competition pool to look, and we were worried that there was structural damage. So when they were working on the roof, we inspected that, and we did a thorough investigation, and we found out that the roof itself wasn't damaged, thankfully, but that we reinforced it when we're on the top where it needed to be reinforced. And thankfully, since we've coated all of the beams with a special paint that covers those beams, we've not had any further corrosion. So the security and the safety of that facility has been done. And the scoreboard, literally the old scoreboard, was failing. And so we were pumping good money into a bad problem by having to replace some things that were beginning to be outdated. So our athletic director, Mr. Ostrekino, appreciates having a scoreboard that actually works. And so that was also replaced. And then we also had the timing system upgraded in the pool. And this has really been to the benefit of our student athletes. We have just an outstanding swim program with the girls and the boys team. And then, of course, our youth program utilizes the pool a tremendous amount as well. So we're very lucky to have this pool. And then this is the starting blocks that are at the natatorium. You can see the before and after picture. Quite a significant upgrade, which we're really pleased with. I know the swimmers and the coaches really appreciate having this better timing system go on. And then the high school natatorium, the interior roof, I kind of talked about this, but what was unique about this situation is they actually raised the level up, and you can see it in this picture on the right-hand side. They built what was called a dance floor using scaffolding, so that when they were painting and resurfacing and scraping all of the surfaces that were on the ceiling, they were able to do so in a very safe environment. So thankfully no one was hurt. We were able to get this job taken care of. And then in addition to that, I know that we had the ability to make some upgrades and refine some of our lighting systems in the pool as well, which is great. The district classroom furniture. So we, as a district, were able, this last summer, with Mr. Schroeder's help, with all our building principals' help, with our chief financial officer, Mr. Ramirez's help, with our maintenance department's help, 22,000 pieces of furniture were able to be moved in so that every classroom in the district received new furniture. Because with our one-to-one learning initiative that we have launched, we wanted to make sure that the investment we made with these digital devices and the spaces that the students have were all in concert so that you could have one with the other and doing them together rather than having a single student desk where we're having problems with Chromebooks being destroyed accidentally by students because they had to put them on their desk and then the book gets in the way and then the Chromebook gets over and it damages their Chromebook. And then also it offers the students the chance to have a clean learning environment. So you can see on the pictures here, they had soft seating choice options at the elementary and some at the middle school. And some of the before pictures of the furniture, and I hate to say this, the alumni of Dundee High School, I know President Bordine, alumnus of Dundee, some of the furniture that he sat in was what we replaced. This was at our middle school. So we were very fortunate to be able to finally replace this, and we really tried to work closely with our teachers. We sought their input 100%, and they were able to offer us the choices they wanted, and we were able to get the pieces of furniture that we know are making a difference for our students today. The high school stage lighting, and then also the sound. This is something that we're very proud of because this spring, the first time in many years, we're actually going to be able to put on a student-led musical. And we're really excited about that. So this is something that has been a long time coming. All new stage lighting, all new sound system. I know that we're really excited to be able to offer that, not just to our students and the families of our students, but we're also going to have the ability to have our seniors come and enjoy that performance and a dress rehearsal for free before it goes to. So we're really trying, giving back as much as we can to our community. And then the natatorium boilers, this is something that we have targeted in our first year. This is something that had needed to be done. You can see there's a little difference between, I don't know if we showed the old ones, but the old ones aren't there, but the old ones were these round, very antiquated boilers that we were having a lot of problems with, and now obviously we have these new energy efficient boilers. The high school gym floor, we were able to upgrade. I know this was a very large project. It involved, we had some water damage in one of the corners of the gym, and there was a situation where we had to have some insurance work done while we were having the floor resurfaced. But of course now, this plain surface is second to none in any of the other schools in our county or in our area. We're very proud of that. And then the high school safe entry. So we were able to add an A-phone entry system and some video surveillance equipment. So not only did we upgrade the high school to make it a little bit safer, so we also added a west side entry entrance as well. But this main entrance, you have to hit the buzzer to be let in. And then in the middle school, I'm pretty sure that's the next one, the safe entry was a little bit more enhanced. We actually developed a small tunnel so that instead of waiting outside the elements, because in the high school, you could enter into the vestibule and be out of the elements and then hit the buttons when you're inside. In the middle school, there was no such thing that existed. Rather than having people wait outside, there was a way to design it so that when the people enter the building, they funnel directly into the middle school office. And you can see that here. And then once their background check is screened, if they're new to the district, then they can enter the school after that. This location was wide open before. You can literally walk in the door and go up the stairs. So we're very proud of having that as an upgrade for this pond as well. The high school and elementary school LED parking lot lighting, this was a huge upgrade, a safety concern for our staff, especially now in the winter, arriving in the dark, leaving in the dark. We wanted to make sure they felt secure and they can trip over anything that was in the parking lot. And it just offers a much safer environment for all involved. The elementary sign. The sign had not been used for a couple of years. So when we finally got it replaced, it was able to now show and demonstrate what's happening in the elementary school. So as families drop the children off, they can actually see what is happening, and when the public drives by, they can also see what's expected to happen. The middle school and high school gymnasium curtains. So there were two very large walls that were used, and one so much, the high school, we only were able to issue the key from the office because they were worried from an insurance perspective that this wall, when it moved, would potentially hurt someone. So we were like, have to do something about this. And then the middle school wall, it was very old. I think there was a door that had been cut in the middle of it where you could access it. I don't know if everyone remembers seeing this. It was the old high school gym wall. So we were able to make some substantial upgrades in the safety of these environments so that now when we have tournaments for basketball or there's a gym class, a physical education class, either at middle school or high school level, we can actually split these gymnasiums into thirds, the high school into thirds. We can split the middle school into half, so you can double your teaching space, which is really great. The elementary fire alarm updates. And I don't think there's a fire marshal in the room, but I think our old system was based on a squirrel running on a little circle, trying to make things work. And this was definitely needed. We upgraded the entire building, and there was a new fire suppression system that we added. So truly, an added upgrade for the safety of our students and our staff. Elementary, we replaced lockers. Some of these lockers, and I don't know if this photo is in there. Is there another photo of this? Okay, no, you can go ahead. But if you would have taken out these older ones that are on the left-hand side, it is amazing, especially in the 1929 building, which is currently our elementary school, the stuff that accumulated behind those lockers.
Oh.
I think I might have made a mint on some of the baseball cards and some of the other things that we saw back then. And then I also came to find out that the architecture of 1929 differs a lot than today's architecture because they actually had their hot air, their heating ducts going through the lockers for radiant heat when the building was built back in 1929. So things have changed since then. So those have long since been cut off. And then these new lockers clearly are an upgrade, and we're really excited to have those in our buildings. And then we also a safety upgrade, classroom door and door hardware replacements. This is true of all of our teaching doors that we have in our district. We're very excited to be able to have that. And we are really excited because the keys that were issued now are keys that can go into, if you have if you're a classroom teacher, because if there's an emergency and if there is an active shooter on campus, which heaven forbid, never happens, but then a teacher can key into another teacher's room in safety, so they can get in as quickly as they can and then close the door and it locks very quickly after them, if that is their only choice. So we're very, very thankful about that. And it's interesting because these doors, you'll see how the slit for the access point where the window goes, it sometimes is opposite of where the door handle is. So the one on the left is what we're going to replace. And then the one on the right is an example of what the door would look like. So it's on the opposite side of the door handle. So it makes it much tougher if you were to break the glass to reach in, to reach around. It makes it really challenging to get access to that space, which we're also very thankful for. The middle school gym bleachers. So this is one of those other upgrades. This bleacher system literally, I think, would trap any small child. And it was just not good. And so we're able to rip all those out, and we put in some state-of-the-art bleachers that offer ADA accessible handicap seating so that you can be in a wheelchair and then sit in the front row, and then the bleachers can be recessed so you can actually sit next to, so you can have a companion with you. And then you can see in the middle sections of the bleachers that there are steel railings you can walk up and down on, and before those didn't exist. So we often would have some of our families that would really be very concerned about the safety getting up and down the bleachers, so now that's been corrected. And that's just the one side. Elementary kitchen refurbishment. So this is our elementary kitchen. It went through a major renovation. This is the first upgrade it's had, we think, ever. This space had standing coolers and standing refrigerator units. We expanded the walk-in cooler space for that. And then we also made it, we tore out a little bit of the wall portion, made it much more inviting for students to purchase their lunch. And I know the staff absolutely, and we absolutely love this space. So we're really excited to have this. And we were able to move our 4th and 5th graders back down to be served in the elementary, which is great too. This is a huge upgrade for our Riverside Academy. If you have ever had an experience of walking into this building, it's been renovated, you won't recognize it. I invite any of you, members of the council, to come and see the inside of the building. Walk in, and it's like a brand new school. It has all new carpet, all new furniture. It's been painted inside. All the windows are brand new, energy efficient windows. We're really excited about this because we're really proud of our alternative high school. Currently, we have about 60 students participating in this program. We're almost to the point where we're too full. Like, I've actually had that conversation with the Riverside Academy director. He's saying, I don't know if we can fit any more. I know Mr. Schroeder works closely with Mr. Walentowski, our director, because we want all of our students to graduate. So we're really fortunate to have this location as a district. We want to take good care of this location as well. And then we also replaced all the exterior doors of that building. And then as you can see, pictures tell 1,000 words, don't they? Bathroom on the left, original install, original design, bathrooms on the right is what they're replacing. Huge upgrade for our students in our buildings. We're really excited to have that as well. And then this is a really fun middle school that been touched in a long time. We added middle school auditorium. This pool is huge because in this room learn to swim in that pool. And a lot of our current students learn to swim in that pool. The number of lives that we've saved by having a teachable pool that used to be the varsity pool where we held our varsity competitions and now have it be a student use and community use pool is huge. And so we have to take care of that space. And you'll see in the center picture, we were able to add some really fun upgraded LED lighting so that if families go for a birthday party, they can have that. And we have a lot of families that use that space, and it's really fun. So it's an inviting space. Elementary school stairwell lighting, this is safety upgrades that we were able to do just in certain spots in the building. They were dimly lit, kind of hard to navigate, especially on very cloudy days or in the evening. I want everyone to be safe. So this is our brand new paper that is going to come out next week. It literally shows you the 47 projects that we had. We had 2 that we identified that we didn't need to do any work on after we had gone through and did further investigation, and they involved the Riverside Academy. But the other 45 projects are all, well, 44 of the 45 projects are done. The last project is a very bottom project. It's in progress. The board had made a decision to revise this aspect of the scope of the project, where they're going to, instead of resealing and resurfacing the parking lots at our high school on the west and south parking lot and the north service drive, they're going to do what's called a full-depth reclamation project, meaning they're going to be able to tear this out. And kind of the mantra we've had since we've done these projects is, we're going to do it the right way. We want to do these projects the right way. Because we don't want 10 years for someone to come back and say, boy, that board or that administration or that superintendent didn't do it the right way the first time and they got it wrong, and we're going to pay more money down the road to fix something that was done for them. So all of these projects we're very proud of. And I just know that we're super excited to be able to have had the opportunity and the trust of the public to move this process forward. So I just want to say thank you very much for allowing me the time to talk about this. And I know that the full-depth reclamation projects are going to be done in concert with our athletic complex. And we have 2 other projects we're doing this summer, which is our network switch replacement. We have 30 network switches. And then the other project we've already started, it's near completion, is upgrading our district radio system from analog to digital. So those 4 projects tied with our contingency leftover bond dollars, the donation, and other funding sources that we're pulling together, we are going to have all these things completed, and hopefully not by spring break. We're going to have it done for our first meeting, which is August the 27th of 2020. So imagine, you're driving into a new parking lot on our high school campus. You get out of your car, you look over, you see the stadium lights gleaming off the new metal roof from the high school. You walk up through the gates of the new entrance to the stadium. You're walking on brick pavers that our Dundee athletic boosters are providing you to potentially, if you wanted to, purchase. Then you go over and you see the new concession stand, the new ticket booth. And you go over and you see the height, you see the stands, and you're sitting in the stands. Doesn't get much better than that. We're watching all the action happen on a synthetic turf field. You're the first in the row coming to have it, first in our athletic conference to have it, planning for the future, doing things the right way. That's what we're about. So, I'm almost done. And I know Mr. Schroeder has seen this, but I want to give this to the public as well. Because of our accumulated growth in our district, part of our district strategic plan, may I approach the council?
Yes.
Okay. So this is a pamphlet that we have designed, our communication subcommittee has designed. We've been approached by so many dealers and by individuals in our community What's good about Dundee? What's there? What do we want to know about Dundee? This pamphlet will be updated annually, so during the summer, this coming summer, we're going to update it because every year there's something new that we're doing. And this is last year's, but I wanted you to see that this is something that we're thinking strategically about because we're very excited. We have been on a pattern of growth, and we don't expect this growth to stop. Since I've been the superintendent since August of 2016,
my little Megan.
we've gained approximately 300 students. Don't expect to be doing more. So we're really, really excited about all the great things that our district has pulled together to do. We think that we have the best teachers, the best staff, the best students, the best families. And I know our district is on a trajectory, and we currently are kind of the envy of other districts in the area because of all the things, great things that we're doing. The thing I often hear, when I go to a state superintendent's conference tomorrow, the thing I often hear about Dundee now is, so you're doing that? Wow, what else are you guys doing? It's always, what things are we, what have we done and what are we doing next? So we're really proud of that. So may I answer any questions from the council?
I had one question.
Yes, sir.
About the Riverside Academy, you're doing the windows and so forth.
Yes.
Is there any doors and locks that are being replaced as like that with the elementary as far as safety issues?
Yes. Yeah, we had covered that in the bond as well. So the locks in the middle school and elementary school have also been changed, and the doors. And then we have, last year we received, in addition to having this bond passed, we also received the Michigan State Police Safety Grant. So we're doing other enhancements too. So it's ongoing. We're always looking for ways to improve the safety of our district.
So that's basically the same thing that the regular school get, Riverside will also get.
Yes, and that's the attitude that we've had. We've tried to offer what we offer our, elementary, middle, and high school. We've also offered to Riverside.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome.
Any other questions? I hope the furniture lasts as long as it did when I was sitting in it.
It lasts a long time, and we've been told that this is going to last, and the students love it, and it's very durable, it's modern looking, and it's one of those eye catchers that because we have a lot of families that come through the district to tour, and they will often comment, wow, you have really nice things here. We're like, yes, and we're very proud of it. So.
Will you go out on the limb and guarantee the football field that we get a first win on that football field, the first game?
I will say I will do the best dance I can do to make that happen. I can't guarantee the win. I'm not going to pull a Joe Namath.
All right.
I can't do that.
Please dance out on the 50-yard line if we do win the first game.
Well, just know that you'll all be invited. There will be, and this is true of all of our municipalities, sometime over the next probably 6 weeks, 8 weeks, we're going to have a dedication ceremony that'll be coordinated with the donor and his family, and then we're going to invite our municipalities, and we're going to invite all of our contractors and our vendors and people that are involved, and we want everyone to kind of kick that off with, hopefully we'll have a nice day to be able to dedicate the field and do the ceremony on first day and then get things started.
Thank you. That was an excellent presentation.
So sorry I went too long.
You
know
didn't.
You did
You
fine.
didn't.
So I've got 4 more years to go, so I've been practicing.
You did an excellent job.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
then I also have the latest newsletter.
Yeah, we're lucky to have you.
Not the latest newsletter, but this is the newsletter from August. And know that if you're a resident of Dundee, the newest newsletter will be out probably the week of February 3rd. So you'll be able to do it. If anybody wants that.
Thank you, Ed.
Well,
Now we go to 6B, citizens' comments on agenda items. Please limit your comments to 4 minutes. Shirley, could you read that, please?
Public comments is provided at both the beginning and the end of the board meeting. The purpose of the public comment is to provide an opportunity for a member of the public to speak. The role of the board is to listen attentively, and we thank you in advance for sharing your thoughts and ideas. All members of the public that speak during public comment will need to state their name and address. We have designated up to 4 minutes per person for each topic presented. The board's role is to listen and to the care and concerns of the community. The manager or designee will follow up concerning the comments as soon as possible. Please contact the village manager office if you have any questions.
Are there any citizens out there that would like to comment on tonight's agenda items? No? Any citizens on tonight's agenda items? Any comments? All right, hearing none, seeing none, go to next. Have the legal update. Fred, we have
I
anything?
move that we
gotta
accept
make-
the petitions,
we do.
communications, and place them on file.
Second.
Is there a second? Been a motion to approve the petitions and communications and put on file by trustee Hickey and seconded by trustee Horkey. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now we have the legal update with Fred Lucas. Fred, is there anything?
Nothing. Right now.
All right, now we go to the consent agenda, 8A. Payment of the bills of $591,119.58. And also, we have on B, a request to use the old mill without charge for the DDA Dancing Through the Decades. This is a fundraiser, and this will be held Saturday, February 29th, 2020. Is there a motion to accept A and B? Payment of the bills, $591,119.15, and B, the request to have the old mill rented out for free.
I'll make the motion for consent agenda for the payment of bills of $591,119.58 on A, and B for request to use the old mill without charge for the DDA Dancing Through the Decades fundraiser Saturday, February 29th, 2020.
Thank you. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Been a motion by trustee McClendon and seconded by trustee Schroeder to approve the consent agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
That's a roll call.
Roll call vote. Could we have a roll call vote then, please, Shirley?
It was moved by trustee McClendon, supported by trustee Schroeder, to accept the consent agenda as presented and placed on file. Trustee Polito?
Yes.
Trustee McClendon?
Yes.
Trustee Reeves?
Yes.
Trustee Horkey?
Yes.
Trustee Schroeder?
Yes.
Trustee Hickey?
Yes.
President Bodine?
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Now we go under 9A, new business. Resolution number 2020-02, a resolution to adjust the building department permit fees. This item is a proposal to bring the building department fees up to date. The fees for the department have not been adjusted for over 12 years. The change of fees puts us in compliance with not only the state's requirement to look at the fee schedule every 3 years, but that the fees are only to support the building department's cost. It must be noted that these changes keep us in line or less than other communities. If the board has any questions regarding this, please contact Gary, or we can discuss this at the next budget workshop. Is there a motion to accept resolution number 2020-02?
So moved.
Second.
It's been
Schroeder?
moved by trustee Schroeder and seconded by trustee McClendon to accept the resolution 2020 to adjust the building department permit fees. Roll call vote, please.
It was moved by trustee Schroeder, supported by trustee McClendon, to adopt resolution 2020-02, resolution to adjust building department permit fees. Trustee McClendon?
Yes.
Trustee Reeves?
Yes.
Trustee Horkey?
Yes.
Trustee Schroeder?
Yes.
Trustee Hickey?
Yes.
Trustee Polito?
Yes.
President Bodine?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Now we go under new business 9B, resolution number 2020-03. This is a resolution to determine the cost to improve Roosevelt Street. As the board is aware of, a resident of Roosevelt Street questions about paving where he lives and owns a business. The board put this in motion by approving resolution number 1, which directed the manager to investigate the street improvement. The task has been completed, and resolution number 2 is the project figures for improving Roosevelt Street. The improvements including engineering, paving, curb and gutter, and water and sewer upgrades. If the board approves, we will move the resolution number 3, which allows the finance to calculate the cost of individual property owners. We believe that this will be the frontage due to the irregularity of parcels, and this is to be determined. If the board has any additional questions, please contact David Yule's office, or we can address this at the next budget workshop. The figures were determined by our engineering firm, Spicer. So is there a motion to accept resolution number 2020-03, a resolution to determine the cost to improve Roosevelt Street?
I will make the motion to pass the resolution on 2020-03, resolution to determine cost to improve Roosevelt Street.
Support.
It's been moved by Trustee McClendon and supported by Trustee Schroeder to adopt resolution number 2020-03. Could we have a roll call vote,
I think
please?
this should have some discussion.
You want to have discussion on it, okay? What's the council's pleasure on this? Who wants to go first?
Well, you know, I was expecting that we were probably going to see some comments from citizens on this agenda item tonight. And I guess my question is this something that's necessary? And is this something that the residents on that street want? Usually when we special assess something, we do so because it's necessary, because there's something that is wrong with the street, there's something that's wrong with the sewer, there's something that's wrong with the water. I understand that there's nothing there, but there's nothing wrong with the street, and there's no environmental impact, there's no impact otherwise. So I guess to impart a special assessment, especially when there are several property owners that have several parcels of land on the same street, I don't know why we're doing this. But I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts on the matter.
Anybody else on the board have anything to say? Jordan or Brian? Go ahead, Brian.
Have we done any notification to all the landowners that are on the street that will be affected, so they're aware that we're discussing this?
With the upcoming resolution.
This resolution actually,
Is to move forward with the pricing of it.
Resolution gives a price on it, but not
Right.
per.
Not per lot.
Yeah.
3 is per lot,
Right.
frontage.
So what we're doing here, we're just finding the price out and what it would cost if we decide to move forward, if the people on Roosevelt Street are agreeable to it. I'm sure they would.
800,000.
Would they get a letter, Dave, before all this would happen, before resolution 3?
It's 800 and some thousand.
Right.
And then so that's your question, and Mr. Schroeder's question is we have to determine the frontage so that we can tell each owner, this is what the share of the 800,000 is. We take care of sewer and water. The residents are, so it's actually $1 million some, but the sewer and water subtracted, we pay for that, and they pay for everything else. And engineering's included. So if you vote to go to 3, that directs me to be able to tell each property owner, this is what you're gonna own.
And that doesn't necessarily mean that that will be done. It's just informing that.
Usually about, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
It's usually about, Fred was just reminding us, usually about 15 years.
So it's not a lump sum payment, it's payment over time, so. it would give them an
You
idea.
can't pay upfront.
Well, they can, of course, but then this would give them an idea of what the assessment.
But we need to know a cost, and we need letters sent out to the public and to
Right.
see if they would be interested in continuing this.
No, it was brought up by a resident here. Mr. Lucas is asking if there was a petition. I said, no, a resident addressed the council, and at the time, they advised me to investigate it.
Is there a cost to have this done, to even look further into this? Is there?
It's already, yes,
Okay.
it's already cost us for engineering to do all the figures.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be a cost to do the next phase too.
Now, if, I would point out that generally speaking, with an SAD, those costs are rolled into the cost of the SAD.
Right, you kind of
in
get
which
them back a
event
little
the-
bit, but,
The village would have the opportunity to recover those costs
Okay.
in the future.
Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
Is there any other further questions on this?
I'm going to take, add something to your motion because actually, the resolution was to determine cost to individual property owners. So I'm going to insert that, if you don't mind, into it.
Yes,
So it
ma'am.
reads properly.
Yes, ma'am.
It was moved by trustee McClendon, supported by trustee Schroeder, to adopt resolution 2020-03, a resolution to determine cost to individual property owners for improvements to Roosevelt Street. Trustee Reeves,
Yes.
trustee Horky,
Yes.
trustee Schroeder,
Yes.
trustee Hickey,
Yes.
trustee Polito,
Yes.
trustee McClendon,
Yes.
President Burdine.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
No, I just wanted to say something. I mean, we already voted on this and the discussion's been made, but I mean, if it was brought to our attention by someone in the village wanting this done and we're doing it, I don't see what the problem would be is, I mean, we're doing what they ask us to do, correct?
Yeah, but it's, in my opinion, it's one person who rightfully so brought this up, but is possibly speaking on behalf of the rest of the residents, so.
Right, right.
We're just providing another opportunity for everybody else to voice their opinions as well.
Right, right.
We have had some negative comments come back from several people on the street.
Okay.
You know, often as it relates to special assessment districts, what will occur is that the village does not have to act absent having received a petition. If that's, if there is sufficient interest in that, oftentimes the village will choose not to act, or any municipality can choose not to act until such time as a petition is presented for that purpose. And that may well be something that you want to consider in terms of, so that there's some indication that there is interest in it beyond one person saying that they're interested.
What about the people that aren't hooked up to sewer? Is it the village's responsibility to have sewer run by their property?
Well, are they within the village?
Yes.
We're not responsible for doing that, but this may be an opportunity. I don't know whether this is an opportunity for doing that at this time or not. I can't really tell you, but it's not, we have no obligation to do that. Could be something, but, again, it depends upon it depends upon what that cost is. And the other thing to realize is that that's a cost that, generally speaking, is a cost that is assessed against the property owners who's receiving the benefit of that. And I don't know if it's in this particular type of a improvement, whether or not it would be appropriate to include that cost in the cost of the special assessment district, because not everyone's going to be benefiting from it. It's only going to be a select few people. So I think you'll want to take a look at that maybe as a separate issue.
It's just like water, we don't hook them up, we provide the line for
Well,
them
right.
to hook up to.
Right, but again, even with water, I think as I understood the question was, the line doesn't go to them at this point, or does the line go to them? We'll have to look.
There should be blueprints on that. Am I correct in that?
Yep. There would, something Spicer would look up for us.
Okay. So the motion has been carried, and we're going to the next one. Old business. 10A,
If we approve 2, don't we have to approve 3 on there?
We
Is
did.
there-
Three.
Is there
That was
another
3.
part of it, though?
That
Okay.
was 3.
Okay, just wanted to make sure
That
that
was
we
3.
didn't miss one.
10A, old business, EGEL, formerly DEQ, consent order. Brian Rubel, we have the document here. This is Brian Rubel from Tetra Tech Engineering explained to the board the last meeting, for those of you that were here or watched it, that the consent order that the village is under from EGLE pertaining to 1 and 1 issues. The final phase of the consent order is a year-long monitoring program from that Tetra Tech has determined that with EGLE. Brian has indicated that Tetra Tech will do everything they can to shorten the length of monitoring, which would reduce the village cost. This is a consent order the village must follow. And Dave, I think this was about the water sewage plant?
Yes, a consent order from the DEQ, we must complete it, and that's, yeah, you're correct. That's
And
what
if-
Brian thought it was.
And if we pass this,
He apologizes, he has another commitment in another community today. I told
Yep.
him, he already explained it.
yeah, he explained it to us last meeting. Okay, thank you. So is there a motion to accept old business 10A, EGLE, formerly DEQ, consent order by Brian Rubel? Is there a motion on the floor to accept this?
Can I make a comment here?
Sure.
Okay, you're approving the amount that's in that, and it's not to exceed $160,000.
Okay, I don't have that on my paperwork,
Yeah,
but
it's
that's
in there.
Further down
very
in the
good.
packet.
168,000?
Yeah, it's to award the project performance certificate work plan for the village consent order closure to TerraTech in the amount not to exceed $160,000.
Okay, is there a motion in that effect from the council?
I'll make the motion for
Thanks, Mike.
EGLE, Environmental Great Lakes, formerly DEQ consent order from Brian Rubel, not to exceed $160,000.
168,000.
Nope,
160.
160 is what I got here, right?
Okay, 160. Okay,
Yeah, 160. Yeah.
thank you for the correction. Is there a second to that motion?
I second.
This would be a roll call vote. All in favor?
Can we have discussion? please?
Discussion?
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
Dave, was this just something that we just went with Tetra Tech? Is this something that we put out for bid? Are we just going with Tetra Tech? Do we know where this price falls in line? It seems high. No,
This all transpired before me having this position, and Tetra Tech is followed through the whole thing. They've been the contractor person for this for the entire time. When it was part of, when we did the water seeping into manholes, they did that. They brought the sewer line through here, so they've seen the whole scope and worked with Eagle on this the whole time.
State your feelings, Brian.
well, I'm just thinking if we're awarding a contract this large, it'd be nice to know what other costs, what other prices are out there from other companies. $160,000 to monitor the water. I'm not in the field, but $160,000 is a lot of money, and I would feel better if we got one or two other companies to say, hey, we would do it for this and kind of see where it falls in line. I'm just concerned that when we only go with one business all the time, there's no incentive for them to give us the best price that's out there on the market. So that's my only concern.
I understand completely, and I can certainly do that if that's what you want. It just, they did the project from the beginning.
Sure.
So my thought is, if you bring somebody else in and they aren't aware of
X, Y, and
what's already
Z.
been going on, and where we have to do the flow monitoring, I don't know if that's gonna cost us more in the long run. Don't know, but kind of the consensus from engineering was that the same company that's done this from point A will finish with it. So, because they've done things all along, but I certainly can reach out to Spicer and get their feelings, and Mannequin Smith, and report back to you.
And I guess I'm not saying that I don't want to go with Tetra Tech. I'm saying I just want to know, is this a good price we're getting from Tetra
I
Tech?
can certainly check with Spicer and our two contracted ones, Manick and Smith, and get their suggestions and opinions, and I can report back to you at the next meeting. This isn't any emergency thing. This DEQ wants this done in the year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I would prefer that we wait till we kind of see if this is a fair price or a good price with market value, what the other contractors come back with, would be my preference.
Well, we have a motion and it's been seconded, so
We
No,
can-
yeah.
you have the
So we're
right
gonna
to vote
vote it
no,
down,
yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
Okay. All right, roll call vote, please.
It was moved by trustee McClendon and supported by trustee Reeves to award the project performance certification work plan for the village consent order closure to TerraTech in the amount not to exceed $160,000.
I have one more statement to make on this behalf. As long as those that are brought into this program know what they're up against as far as what we've gone through with the $700,000 that we've spent on the wastewater project and all of the fibers, all that kind of knowledge, because we don't want somebody to come in here and just say, well, yeah, we can monitor water, this and that, and then they throw us a cheap price and we go, wow, that's so much cheaper, we'll take that in a heartbeat. And then there goes the $700,000 we've just invested, and we have to come back to the public and go, hey, we made a mistake. And I see where you're coming from, because just like we just said on the auditors, we've been compliant with them for a long time and complacent. We like what they've done, but now we want a new price from them and somebody else to look at them, and I understand that too. I just wanted to add something to that they are fully aware, that they know full knowledge of what we expect out of them. Not just, we're gonna hook up something, monitor here, and that's it. No, we want from point A to point B, out to the river.
I will make sure, good point, I will make sure that the other Spicer and Manick and Smith knows exactly what the details are, because it's spelled out by Eagle, what has to be done. And I will make sure they know the exact specifications, and then we'll be getting a true number, and they may come back and tell me, no, you don't do it that way. I don't know.
Okay.
But I will find all that out, and I will do what you're suggesting, which is a good point, and I will take all that into consideration. I'll bring back my findings.
Excellent.
Good point. Any other discussion? No, Shirley, roll call, please.
Trustee Horky,
Yes.
trustee Schroeder,
No.
trustee Hickey,
No.
trustee Polito,
No.
trustee McClendon,
I'm gonna say no.
trustee Reeves,
Yes.
President Burdine.
Yes.
The motion is turned down.
Okay. I'll report back to the board at the next meeting.
We have next 11A, upcoming training sessions, tools to enhance your parks and recreation and open spaces. This is just for us for information. Would anybody like to speak on it up here? No? And we can go to the next thing. Citizens, number 12. Citizens' comments on non-agenda items. Is there any citizens? Michelle?
Wait a minute, on the up-training opportunities, are you gonna be attending that down in Semcog then?
I don't know, because it's on the 29th during the week, so I have to make sure my work calendar is cleared to do that. I am attending an online training for a grant, for the DNR grant stuff tomorrow. There's a webinar. So,
Okay.
Michelle, please.
Good evening. I'm Michelle Pallid of Monroe, Michigan. And Mr. Borda, I have to address some comments you made during the last meeting. I watched the last meeting on Facebook because I cover the County Commissioners City Council. At the January 7th meeting, Mr. Bordine, you insinuated somehow I was influenced to write the letter that called you out for some denigrating comments regarding the Dundee Police Department. Sir, I was influenced by your behavior over 3 council meetings, September 17th, October 15th, and November 5th. Let me say, unfortunately, I can't attend all these meetings because they often coincide with the county meetings. I can, however, watch them on the village's Facebook page. And over the last 2 weeks, I've watched many Dundee Village Council meetings. I also watch the Bedford Township meetings because I need to know what's going on in our community. During the September 17th meeting, Mr. Bourdon, almost an hour into the meeting, you made some inappropriate comments regarding Dundee police and first responders. You said you felt Chief Garbo and Manager Ewell had gone rogue with their personal agendas. During the October 15th meeting, you accused the staff of using, and I quote, because I played this back and forth, organized information against you by writing fictitious letters. Finally, during the November 5th meeting, about an hour and 17 minutes into the meeting, you questioned the motives of the police department. That was the meeting where the agenda item you wanted to talk about was, quote, discussion of stolen sign and disciplinary action against employees. Although legally there was a question of who really owned the property that the stolen sign was on and meetings were set up with attorneys for a future date, you were really bent on reprimanding someone without proof that a crime had happened. I don't know who made you the judge and jury, but the facts, as far as I know, haven't all been determined yet. You're all up for re-election in November. Many of you are quality individuals. I hope that the voters take that into consideration and decide who to return and who not to return in November. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other citizens' comments tonight on anything? Howard?
Before you start the clock, Dave, I've been really sick and I haven't hardly heard anything, but I would like to be able to ask you a couple questions about Roosevelt Street because I really didn't hear anything. And would the council allow me to do that after I talk for a minute? Because I seriously,
What I would ask,
what I did not hear anything.
Howard, what I would ask is set up a meeting with Dave and come in and sit down and have all those questions answered. You can meet with Dave at any
It
time.
was just the stuff that was talked about.
I understand that.
Here,
Okay,
and I didn't
we're
know.
not going to have citizens back and forth. We're not going to do back and forth.
No,
Excuse me?
then I can have the engineer here. So if you make an appointment with me, I'll have the engineer in here and Robin in here who can answer financial questions, and the engineer can ask things and look and see where the sewer's at and answer any of your questions.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Howard Silly, 500 Roosevelt Street. Okay. It's too bad that the superintendent didn't get to see how this works. I think he would have been intimidated. But I like everything that's going on with the school. I do worry about if we're putting sports ahead of education. I worry about other schools seeing if this whole process of this fancy football field and all this new structure goes on, what is it going to send a message to the other schools and the kids at them schools that come to this school? I went to Summerfield High School, graduated in '68, sulfur water. Sometimes we had heat, sometimes we didn't, but we still made it. And I watched football games, and everybody survived. I just hope that we're not taking this so far that we're putting education in second place instead of first place. That is my concern over all the stuff. As far as the school being fixed up and everything done, I think it's a great job. I think it's good. I want every kid to be safe. I'd like to have every kid to have an opportunity. I don't know if they got to wear different shoes to go on this special field, but I know there'll be cost overruns. And I'm not a supporter of it, to be honest with you. And I think some other businesses may not be. And so when they come and ask for donations, I think they need to go to the people that supported it. And I'd like to get back to 2 weeks ago. I did a check on what a Monroe County sheriff makes, and their average salary is $36,000 to $40,000 a year, not $115,000. State cop, that's about $44,000, and after 20 years, he's up to $66,000. And one of the things I want to get to about when my daughter called the police, and Mr. Garbo said that that cop was at the jail. Well, shouldn't that call have went to maybe a state police or somebody else instead of waiting 45 minutes to an hour? Because when I had my 4th of July party, they didn't have no problem having 4 cops there and 3 cop cars. So I don't know where the problem lies there. And then when the cop did get there, he told her, you know what to do, right? Well, I think we can do better than that. And as far as if you want to have meetings, why can't the police go to these places and look for themselves? Or talk to the managers, talk to the people. It just seems like we have no communication anymore. You know, when Mike Mahalik was in town, he used to stop my salvage yard all the time. And would talk, ask me things, was great. Great communication. We don't have that anymore. And it's sad that we have a little bit of too much disrespect. I think we've lost it. We need to get it back. And if I go over 4 minutes, please don't elbow him. I didn't mean to. You know, I wish the superintendent could have seen this. It is intimidating. I wish we had the hourglass back up there that you could tip up. I mean, instead of us staring at this. I mean, it would be nice just to see the pictures of the school or something else, or Dundee itself. This is intimidating, and it's not to hear us. It really is to shut us out. We're all taxpayers. We all help this community the best we can, and it's sad that we have to be intimidated like this and that we don't have the communication that we should have. I just wish for a safer and a better community, and I don't want to be known as a place that writes the most tickets in Monroe County. I want to be known as a place for people to come and see.
Thank you, Howard.
Historic Dundee.
Thank you. You
Thank
did
you.
very well.
Thank you, Howard.
And thank you, Dave, for telling me that, because I really can't hear, and I do appreciate it.
Call the office tomorrow and the girls will set up an appointment with you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Are there any other citizens' comments? Dave?
Dave Federley, 235 Main Street. You know, you guys really should be very embarrassed of yourselves. I don't know if you guys look at these meetings afterwards or not, but the amount of bickering that goes on around here is just absolutely ridiculous. It's counterproductive. It's no wonder you can't even sit on a board like this and be polite, respectful, raise your hand when you need to be recognized to make a comment. It's no wonder when you can't do that you guys can't get along with all the affairs of our village. I mean, come on, think about it. We got 2 empty seats sitting up there. We've got an extra table out here that now we're even taking the time to decorate the table with a tablecloth and stuff. It's very evident all the way through that you guys are not working as a team for our community. You know, and it spills outside of here. It doesn't matter if you're calling a girl's boss to try to get her fired. It doesn't matter if you close the street down on the body shop there, then turn around and plow 8 inches of snow up behind his wrecker where he can't even get his wrecker in and out of his parking spot. It doesn't matter. You people are all against something or someone somewhere, and it's ridiculous. And we're tired of, as villagers of Dundee, having to put up with your crap and your childishness and pettiness when it's affecting our way of life in this town.
Thank you, Dave. Are there any more questions or comments from the public? Any more questions tonight? No. Hearing none and seeing none, we'll move to the village manager comments.
I have none, Mr. President. I think we covered pretty much everything last night.
Okay, staff reports. Don't see anybody from the staff. Chief Garbo, do you have anything to say?
Yes, the people of Rawson Place, I just want to thank them. Another shout out to them. We had our luncheon with them on the Thursday the 16th of this month. With that said, we did a neighbors fraud scams, and we had one of our VIPs actually come in and talk about our VIPs program. So I wanted to thank them for allowing us that opportunity. Unfortunate Trooper Don Stewart could not make the event. He was going to be there, so we're going to set up another time to visit with him so we can do some more positive things over there. On another note, I was notified that we have been selected as with a Homeland Security grant. We're going to work with U.S. Customs and Border Patrol for the fiscal year 17 grant. That grant is going to put us in conjunction with border agents. We're going to continue to work on 23. Well, we're going to work with federal agents now. We're going to help assist them. They're going to assist us. We've got some target areas we're going to hit, and one of them may be in our car, and we may be in their vehicle. So you'll see Border Patrol agents out here. It's not to be alarmed. It's actually to do traffic interdiction for drugs, interdiction for human trafficking, and other things we'll be looking at. So you may see the Dundee car down on exit 1. You may see the Dundee car up at exit 28. But we'll be with the Border Patrol agent. That's where their limits go beyond our realm, and that's why they want us to team up with them. So the city of Milan is also on the grant. The city of Monroe is on the grant. Every community is on this grant, and we're here to help. So we're looking forward to that, and we're excited about that. So we can make Dundee a safer place and a safer community for all. Next month, I'm going to have a representative of our VIPs and reserves here. We'll give out a yearly report from last year. And as always, contact me here at my office. It's open. If anybody has any questions about the PD, feel free. I'm here. Don't always use the podium. You're free to contact me, come in person, and I'd be more than happy to sit down with you, explain all the good things that we're doing at your police department. I say ours because you are us, and we're here to serve you. So I want to thank you. That's it.
Shirley, you have anything to say from the old mill?
No.
No?
We're just in our planning stage for the year, and we're going to be having lots of activities going on over there involving the public, so some new programs and so forth.
How are we doing on that historical committee that we're trying to put together?
Of the zoning for the historical commission. Because that was supposed to be done through the zoning. Don't know right now.
Hopefully we can move on with it and get some names so we can approve them up here on the council. Jordan, do you have anything to say tonight?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank everybody for coming out tonight, as most of you do every Tuesday meeting that we have here. And I also just wanted to say thank you to everybody who attends more of these meetings on Facebook. So I listen to everybody that comes before the podium. I pay attention to every comment that I see on Facebook, and you got some good people up here, so I just want everybody to know that.
Alina?
Actually, I was reading The Independent before I got here tonight, and according to Assessor Bob Brazu, Meyer has begun to market their outlots and stated that this is typically a leading indicator of store construction, but said it may be a few more years before a Meyer store is built. So I know there's been a lot of hype about that being a possibility, and that was kind of a good thing I saw in there. Secondly, I've been frequenting our local library, and I think it's a great place for adults and for children. I'm not sure if you know that there's a new youth coordination librarian, and she has some exciting programs scheduled, so I would encourage everyone to check that out as well. So, thank you.
Yep, Brian?
Yeah, I want to first state that I think the new plow truck got some exercise this last weekend, so I'm sure they figured out a whole lot. I'm assuming everything went well because when I woke up Saturday morning, right when I even woke up, the streets were already cleared. So great job. Hopefully the truck makes a difference, and that's big. That's big too. And I also just want to take the opportunity. I'd encourage anyone who has questions about the school, about any of the bond projects, to reach out and get accurate information. Mr. Manuzak is one of the most approachable people I know. You can reach out to myself. There's a whole lot that goes on, and there's no excuse to not get accurate information, so I would encourage anybody who has questions about the school district to see Mr. Manuzak or myself, and we can steer you with the right information.
Do you have an open door policy?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Mike?
I have nothing to say right now. I just want to make an apology for not making it to the budget meeting last night. Date's confused, messed up, so it's my fault. That's all.
We have 2 more coming up.
I'll make it to those.
We'll get stop in and we'll get you a packet from last night that Robin passed out.
Thank you.
Bring you up to date.
Denny, would you like to comment?
Nothing, thank you.
Would you like to comment on last night's budget meeting? A little
No,
bit?
I thought it was very good. Went well, and it was here, and I like that too.
Yeah.
I know going to the outside venue was nice, but it's not necessary. It was nice and comfortable in here.
Just want to let you guys know that we're going to be doing the public hearing on the new park plan on February 18th. So there will be a plan that's drawn up. It'll be drawn up by Manick and Smith. They've been the ones that we agreed to last year to do that work. The grant is actually due to the DNR on April 1st. So they'll come up with a plan. We'll put some numbers in, which is important right now in the budget because we will have a percentage of commitment that we would have to do in order to apply for the grant. We would have to commit some money to that, up to 30%. There are 2 openings on the Parks and Rec Commission at the end of the month. There are 2 people who will be expiring of the 3 that would expire this year. So if you're listening or you're out there and you're interested and you live in the village, the way the ordinance is, it has to be in the village, not just the township. Then you can write a letter to Dave to fill a 3-year term. So like I said, there's going to be 2 openings. And that's all I have.
Thank you. I'd like once again to thank the DPW for their outstanding work through the 2019 year. Our town looked fantastic again for Christmas, the holidays, and they did a great job of removing the snow on this last storm. And possibly somebody is misunderstanding me when I say things up here. I'm relating some things that I'm commenting on what the public is saying. And I think people like to shoot me down, shoot the messenger when I bring things up and say things. And it's too bad when I did apologize about the Solvay Homes and the sign. It's just a difference of opinion. I retracted my statement that night that the sign wasn't stolen, that it was taken, and we're talking about the sign of Chris Batianis and his shop that's been there for over 3 years. And I'm really thankful that somebody from the radio station in Monroe would come here and watch our meetings and show up. But I think sometimes you are possibly misinformed. I did ask David, when you did write that letter, Miss Pallid, that if he was friends of yours, and he has many friends, and I didn't suggest anything more than that. You are entitled to write as many letters and response as so possibly you can write. But I noticed also that you're the same lady that put on the debate here last year, and all of us aren't up for re-election. And when you put up the city, and I was sitting at the end on the right, and I was sure hoping for a fair and honest debate. But when I seen Mr. Yule sitting in the back, and you were sitting over here, and I heard your phone go off, and you looked right back there, Mr. Yule, and he's going like this. I was thinking, oh my God, here we are in Dundee. Monroe has one debate. These other communities have one debate, but we had to have two. I was hoping honesty would be a good policy to run when you do run a debate. And then after I walked out of the debate, I was met by 3 police cars to my car, and I couldn't get in. And I have witnesses to this, and 2 of them are sitting in the audience tonight. And that's just the intimidation that some of us go through up here. And this will be my closing remark. I thank everybody for showing up tonight. I hope they understand it, what I've been saying. And Dave, we will look forward to trying to work together as much as we can, but you're a lifelong resident here. You can see what we're up against. I'll do the best I can. And that's what I took the oath of office to do, the best I can. And from what I'm hearing on the street, we're doing okay. In fact, we're doing better than okay. Thank you for coming tonight. Meeting's adjourned.
Go home for an hour and a half and then head into work. This is something when you're 19. I can barely remember. Say Dex.
After those, bring it home in parts.
Tim?